infra, intra, extra.
Agatha Harkness is the MCU's current major antagonist, and she has been slowly scheming her way back to full power. But the world's most prodigious witch isn't without her own problems and flaws, however. Today at CBR, we are diving into what Agatha Harkness's biggest issues are, and how they are holding her back. For fans that have kept up with the MCU's Disney Plus shows, Agatha Harkness was first introduced in 2021's WandaVision as the primary foe that Scarlet Witch needed to contend with. Agatha had planted herself deep within Scarlet Witch's fabricated reality and worked to use her as a means to gain the full power of the Darkhold for herself. It was a vile plan, and one that instantly established her true personality and character. Agatha was a master actress and manipulator, and she was able to shed personas at the drop of a hat. But for all her scheming, Agatha was still defeated by Scarlet Witch and trapped within a potent reality-altering spell herself. For the past 3 years, the MCU left uncertain what specifically had become of Agatha and whether she would ever rise to enact her vengeance upon the world once again. Agatha's defeat at the end of WandaVision also set up Agatha's biggest flaw that is hounding and holding her back today, even as she works to regain her powers.
I'd die before letting you befoul it with your noxious mediocrity.
Even though Agatha all along is just getting started, its characterization of Agatha has spoken volumes about who she truly is deep down. The very first episode showcases the reality spell that she had become trapped within. As the witch Rio asks in sad disbelief, "Is this really how you see yourself?" Agatha's personal perception was of an average but hard-working woman. The persona she had been trapped within was that of an every-woman detective, a no-nonsense, down-home kind of gal that liked to crack open a beer to unwind after a long day at the station. Agatha's life within the reality spell raises the question of how accurate that facade was in regard to how Agatha truly views her station in life. Because upon her freedom from the spell, her attitude pulled an immediate 180. No longer blunt but kind, Agatha became irritable, nasty, mean-spirited, and arrogant to everyone and everything around her. Even when she learned that people in her neighborhood had been caring for her while she had been trapped within the spell, she spat at them and huffed off without a single word of thanks. It is this rotten and elitist attitude that is Agatha's single biggest flaw, and possibly the biggest issue that can spell her own undoing.
I have always hated you.
Throughout the course of Agatha all along thus far, Agatha has stated that she needs to traverse the witch's road to regain her power so that she may be able to defend herself against the Salem 7 and every other witch that has it out for her. To do this, however, Agatha needed to assemble a coven of witches that would be able to aid her in every way during her journey. Rather than speak to each of the witches like a grown adult, Agatha instead tells half-truths, manipulates, schemes, and outright lies to them in order to make them do what she wants. A prime example of her inability to be honest with her fellow witches can be seen in episode 2 when Agatha lies about drinking her glass of wine. Of course, her lie was exposed quite spectacularly, and Agatha had to begrudgingly partake in the coven's trial just like everyone else. Agatha's staunch inability to tell the truth and be honest with everyone around her is one of her biggest flaws. As obvious as this statement may be, it's extremely likely that this massive flaw will come back to bite her if she continues to ostracize the people that she has selected to help her. What's intriguing about Agatha's elitist egocentrism is that somewhere, deep down, is a woman that is a tangled mess of emotions. When the Witch's Road made each woman confront their deepest fears, Agatha's was a cradle. She began to cry instantly when she approached it, because the other witches have mentioned the dark past that Agatha has with her only son. It is clear that Agatha herself is far from over whatever emotional trauma she suffered so many years ago.
Thanks for being underage.
Agatha's trauma is important because a key theme that runs throughout the show is sisterhood, both between fellow witches and between fellow women. Strong ties of connection are what bind the witches together. They share stories of how they survived past battles. They crack jokes at common misconceptions and stereotypes that they must contend with.
And you know, I blame Halloween. Do you see any pointy hats in here? Any greens?
And they lend each other helping hands when the Witch's Road becomes too fearsome. Agatha's stark refusal to reciprocate and offer this same sense of positive camaraderie is what drives her further and further away from the people she clearly needs in her life. It is a self-fulfilling prophecy that she has locked herself into, burying her deepest thoughts and feelings beneath layers of superiority and selfishness, only to suffer even further due to her own rotten actions. Agatha is a liar. She is an untrustworthy opportunist who will hurt anyone and everything around her in order to get what she wants. Mrs. Hart's fate proves Agatha's callousness with other people's lives, and she might not be the only one to meet such a fate before Agatha's trip down the Witch's Road ends.
Maybe this is the end.
That would be such a bummer.
A question that rises from all of Agatha's repressed memories and emotions is whether she's redeemable as a person or not. Is Agatha truly a villain or just a woman running from her past? If she is attempting to gain power for the sake of making things right, if so, do the parts justify the whole? Agatha manipulated Scarlet Witch, but she never actually hurt or killed anyone.
And I killed Sparky too.
At the same time, her entire plan in WandaVision was to gain the full power of the Darkhold, the literal book of evil magic. Whatever tenderness and empathy Agatha may be showing the teen in Agatha All Along may be genuine, but it certainly doesn't change the fact that she wanted to become the world's most powerful magic user through the use of the Darkhold. Even if Agatha does harbor regret and woe over what happened with her son, her remorse doesn't erase the fact that a woman died on her watch during her first true foray onto the Witch's Road. What remains to be seen by the end of Agatha All Along is if Agatha will be A, worthy of redemption, B, capable of turning a new leaf, and C, willing to become the mother she always should have been.
Did you know she traded her own child for the Book of the Damned?
Aside from her current blatant lack of magical powers, Agatha's biggest flaws stem from her terrible disposition and attitude towards everything around her. The only reason she has a coven in the first place is because she played dirty and took advantage of their deepest regrets and deficiencies. Also, in absolute fairness, the teen has been an invaluable amount of help for her, and even through everything the teen has done for Agatha, she still can't be bothered to give him a modicum of sustained respect for his help. There is still plenty of Agatha All Along left to go before Agatha reaches the end of the Witch's Road. Therefore, there is the possibility that she might actually grow and learn from her mistakes, and she may stop being such a foul-spirited woman. It is more likely, though, that Agatha will continue to be the same conniving and emotionally hollow manipulator that she always has been throughout her time in the MCU. What remains to be seen is who or what will finally knock her down a peg or two over her rotten attitude: the Coven, Rio, the teen, or some other dark malefactor lurking in the shadows of the Witch's Road.
How is anybody doing this sober?
What do you think Agatha's biggest flaw is in the MCU and Agatha All Along? Do you think she's capable of becoming a good witch, or will she always be a selfish and arrogant villain? Make sure to comment, subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching CBR.